Yes, handsome, I hear you. Welcome, everyone. We are live today. Whew. Somebody's got your girl a little fired up already. Who are you looking at? You see, when we go out into the world, right, there are so many things going on. What has me fired up already this morning? I didn't even notice it was 5:10 because I was responding to this comment. Somebody said, oh, yeah, those Hermetic principles were written by the KYBALIon and they're just another marketing ploy. And I was like, are you listening to yourself? I mean, they don't need any defense. The Hermetic principles need no defense. You simply observe them on a daily basis. You see, what has happened is humanity has become slightly jaded. And they think that everything is a scam, everything is a ploy, trying to get what they have. Right? So they lump the principles in with that. And that is coming from a place of hurt and not having comprehension. So that's why it's funny. I named this room since last week. Who are you looking at? Who are you looking at? You see, the principles are not man-made. They are man-observed. Do you comprehend what I'm saying? They're man-observed, quite like mathematics. Man did not invent mathematics. Man observed and learned what was already there. But where does it come from? You see, nobody looks at that portion where it comes from. Right? We just learn what we learn in school, and some of us love mathematics, and the rest of us, well, we hate it. But if you look at where it has originated from, it is beyond humanity. Mathematics is the principle of rhythm. It is something that occurs in a sequence, in a pattern. And if you observe the pattern, you can break it down, right? But because mankind can break down the pattern, it does not mean the pattern is somehow a marketing ploy. $5.99, $9.99. No, 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 no. That's just the way man responds to a thing. You understand? Somebody along the way figured out, because why? They observed how humanity responds to stimulus. And that is why things exist as a response, as an effect of someone paying attention to what man does. All we do is observe the nature of a thing. We did not invent it. We've just learned how to exploit it. And I'm using the word exploit in the not so pleasant fashion, because we exploit everything. To exploit is to use, but it just depends on the intensity of how you use the thing, right? Look at how we are built in this world. We are built upon the foundation of capitalism. So all of our thoughts, everything we feel, everything we experience is based upon, how can I make more? How can I have more? Right? Because that's what we're built upon. But those Hermetic principles, without those principles, they are only called Hermetic because Hermes was the one who wrote them down. He only wrote them down, but he too is governed by them. Don't ask me who he is or his origin, because I know not. I only have the information I was given. I don't focus on him and what he wrote down. I focus on the principles themselves. You see, why I asked you, who are you looking at? Look at the entire planet. Everybody say, I'm Christian, I am Jewish, I am Muslim, I am this, I am that. Everybody's following somebody else. You do not follow people. Don't follow people. Look at the principles. The principles tell you the all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. That is for you to always know that you exist and you are. What does my opinion have to do with who and what you are? That's on you. And it tells you, as within, so without, as above, so below. What? Yes. What's within you? Well, then you will experience it and encounter others who do the same. It's as simple as that. You see, whether you like me or you don't like me is irrelevant. I'm not here to be your friend or your enemy. I am, period. And so what we tend to do, we tend to latch on to a thing or a person. Well, I follow Allah, I follow Muhammad. You follow, who? What are they following? That's what's most important. What are they following? People say, I'm Christian, I follow Christ. Okay, what was Christ following? You see, you do not follow the person. You observe the pattern that they lived by. Because what ends up happening is contradictions, right? Contradictions in the text. You see, if you circumvent the text, go around the text, look for the source, not of the text, because still somebody wrote it. Somebody wrote the KYBALION. Nobody knows who wrote the KYBALION, but I'm telling you what's written in the KYBALION is outside in nature itself, if you're looking for it. So I don't follow the KYBALION. I observe the principles themselves, because all of nature itself, whether it be human or non-human, is irrelevant. All things are governed by those principles. All things. But you see, we get caught up in a person and how charismatic they are. This is why people fall for scams. So who are you looking at? Who are you looking at? We want to be liked. We want to be appreciated in the world. Do we not? Of course we do. Allegedly, we are community creatures. Allegedly. But go back to the source. There is something that allows you to breathe, something that allows you to think, something that allows you to feel. That's what's there. If you would just get in the mirror and ask, what more is there to me? What more is there in this mirror that's looking at me? What is this in here? If we would ask that, but we run around trying to figure out how old dinosaur bones are. We want to be the first man on the moon. We want to be the first to do this. We want to be the first to do that. Be the first to discover who and what you are. We look up at the stars and we study astrology. What powers astrology? What makes the planets turn? What holds the Big Dipper up? We're not asking that question. We just say, well, oh, I'm a Pisces. You heard the word Pisces. So who are you looking at? This is why it is so important. And people say, oh, but that's New Age. New Age is a phrase that we've heard, people. When you look in the mirror and you begin to comprehend your own existence, you can call it whatever you want. But I'm telling you what it is this morning. There is something that powers you. It's raining outside right now. Pitch black, but it's raining. What's making that rain fall? Oh, well, when the conditions in the atmosphere are right. Yeah, but who or what makes the conditions in the atmosphere right? Do we stop to ask that question? But you see where we get caught up because we're busy looking at things and looking at people? Because we have our bills to pay. Everybody has bills to pay. So the one who's perpetuating the scam is paying their bills too. But they just have a singular focus: paying their bills, and to get it by any means necessary. That's what they do. But what I do, look inside yourself. But you see what happens with us sometimes, we want to say, oh, but what about God? What about God? Do you know what the most incredible thing of gratitude and praise would be? Is to acknowledge the existence of God. But where is God? Did anybody stop to ask this? We just go by what the Bible says God is. We go by the Quran, the Torah, and what they say God is. But have you ever stopped to discover who God is beyond what you and I were told? Don't get it twisted. I'm not coming for you this morning. I was raised in the church. So I am keenly aware of what's in that Bible and how it's been misinterpreted, but the principles are in the Bible if we would look and not judge. Oh, but you shouldn't sin. Who said that? Do we stop to ask? So who are you looking at? Oh my God, that's blasphemous. Blasphemy is a word. Do you know what blasphemy is? To look out there and know that there's something. It is so subtle. So I just have words that I learned in school, okay? Because I learned how to speak. So the words are they don't even do it justice. But the very fact that we sit and contemplate that there is something so subtle that runs, and man thinks he's so important, that they forget what makes man important. It is the very breath that is in your lungs that makes you important. But you see, we take it for granted, except for when we're dead. But we take that very breath within us for granted because we're running around trying to A, pay the bills, B, trying to be liked, trying to prove our existence and our worth and our value. You don't have to prove it. You have to live it. There's nothing to prove. You are, period. That's it. It's up to you now to discover who and what you are, not through the lens of your preacher, not through the lens of whoever else, not through the lens of your leaders, through your lens. But you see, that lens, it has been colored by what we have learned. And because we have learned what we've learned, we become a little bit afraid to reach beyond it. What's outside of it? What is outside of what you have learned? Do you dare to venture there? This is what I'm asking you today. Do we dare to venture beyond what we have learned? Oh, but if I learn that, but God will be upset with me. He'll put me in hell. Do you think that anything can separate you from God? Do you know why nothing can separate you from God? Again, God is a word we learned. Nothing can separate you from God. Do you know why? Because you are God. Oh Lord, now I can hear the collective gasp and the clutching of pearls. Oh, Angela, you're going to burn in hell because you're blaspheming the name of God. You just know what you've been told in the scriptures or whatever holy book you've read. And none of us are willing to go beyond that. Because if we did go beyond what we learned, we would recognize that within us, inherently, naturally, is a particular reverence that causes us to see, wait, I can inhale and exhale, but how? I can walk and I can talk. Listen, you may have an ailment that prevents you from walking, but you still exist. You still are. Why? Why are you? You're not here because your mother and your father came together and then seeds were planted. That's not it. You were here before that. But you see, we can't get our heads around that. And so thus we stay within the parameters of what we've learned instead of seeking what we truly are. What are you? And some of us go back and we say, oh yeah, but the Anunnaki, yeah, who are they? Do you not know that they're governed by the same principles as you and I? Why do you think they had the ability to create and tamper with? Because they have to use the same principles. So this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning, as you go about your day, get a little bold. Who am I? You see, we know who capitalism has formed and shaped us into being. That is what we know. But if you step back from that for a moment, now what is driving you? What's driving you now? Get to know that part instead of looking out into the world and seeing all of the quote unquote flaws in it. There are no flaws. It's just that man hasn't quite seen what they really are because we are too busy being greedy, too busy being in pain, too busy dealing with trauma. You see, we're so busy that we don't even have the time to sit for 10 minutes to really and truly discover what we are. But yet we look at the plank, the perceived plank in somebody else's eye to judge them. Oh, humanity, we are good at that. Only because we practice judging. But how about we practice loving you? How about we practice that? Loving you does not mean flowers and chocolate and bubble bath. It means digging beyond what we know. Well, how would you know what you don't know? By spending time in silence, feeling your own heartbeat. Your heartbeat will tell you a lot about yourself if you would listen to it, if you would feel it. You put your hand on your chest. I'm not telling you to put your hand on your chest because I'm trying to be all cryptic and things. I'm telling you, put your hand on your chest or at your carotid artery and feel the thump, 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 and then marvel at it. How the heck did it get there? That's what I'm saying to you. If you would take the time to slow down and do that, then you'd discover a lot. Every time you breathe, feel it. Every time you chew, taste it. Every time you sip, let it warm you. But Ain't nobody got time for that. Why am I suggesting that you do it? Because you'll learn a lot. Don't you want to know? Or you just want to chase, 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 chase? Who are you looking at? Who are you looking at on a daily basis? That's why Neville Goddard was so way ahead of his time, I suppose. And he would say things like, let us go into the silence. And he would use scripture and people would think he was nuts. But the one thing he did do was discover who and what he was. In the lecture we read last night, he said he would read his Bible for between 5 to 8 hours a day. Now, see, ain't nobody got time for that. Because if you're busy reading your Bible, okay, when are you working and when are you sleeping? But he didn't read the Bible because of humanity and the way they read it and the church reads it. He knew something deeper. Something was hidden in there. And that's what he spent his time trying to unearth, to dig it up, to dredge it, to find out who he was. So I'm not telling you today to read your Bible. I can't tell you what to do, but I can strongly encourage you to get to know. When you look in the mirror, we only stop at our reflection. That's what we stop at, our reflection. We don't go past our reflection. Because if we did, you would ask the question, even though I'm nearsighted, I can't take my glasses off and see my reflection fully. It's blurry. But what is looking at me? You see, I'm looking through my eyes. Who is looking through my eyes? The first thing you say, well, I am. Dummy. I am, Fred. You big dummy. That's what he says, right? That's what you want to say to me this morning when you look in the mirror. Who's looking out through your eyes? The first thing you say is, well, I am. Yeah, but who is that? That is the most important person. And when I say important, I don't mean that you're important. You have to poop in a gold potty. That's not important. That's not what importance means. Importance, because now we say, words are spells and we want the etymology of the word. We'll start with two simple ones. I am. That is what you are. But now it's up to you to discover what that is. Not through the lens of any suffering that you may have had or currently still experiencing. Not through that lens. I'll give you this example and then I'll close because the man beckons. I'm talking about my job. Right? I met a very cool young man the other day. And he's an athlete. Athletes have this keen ability. If you watch them, or a man like David Goggins, I've spoken of him before. If you watch them, you will see when they slip into a particular pocket, when they become singularly focused, super focused, right? Another famous athlete's on everybody's mouth these days, Simone Biles. How can she do what she does? Do you think she just gets out there and jumps up and down and tumbles and flips and turns? No. Her mind, I am. She gets out there and she's singularly focused when she practices. So that if you observe her, or any other superior athlete for that matter, They rise above the apparatus that they're working on. It's almost as if they're otherworldly. All you're seeing is their body performing this task. And you ask, how in the heck are they doing that? It goes beyond training. Because if they stumble or falter, you'll see it. You'll see the difference between when they stumble and falter and when they're in the pocket, when they're just hitting it right, you understand? You see that part where they're hitting it just right? That's the part that every single one of us has. The ability to rise above mentally the thing that we are doing. So when you're looking in the mirror and you see your reflection, that's just like riding your bike, walking, talking, chewing your food. That's all that is, the surface. But go a little deeper in the pocket. This is why meditation. But you see, we've bastardized that word too. So that now when you say meditate, oh my God, people cringe when they hear meditate. They think it's woo-woo. No, all meditation is a singular focus. And that singular focus, it is so, what's the word I want to use? The band is so narrow because there's only one thing being focused on, but you're so big. Oh, seems paradoxical. No, listen to it. You are so singularly focused on that thing that you're now bigger than the thing. See? It's the pocket that the athlete gets into. Or if you hear Fantasia, or you hear Aretha Franklin, or loving you is it right? Her, right? Mimi, you know, if you hear her singing, you're like, how? There's a place that they go to. That's what we want to call it, a place they go to, but it's not a place that they go to. They actually slip into who and what they really are. Van Gogh, William Blake, they just slip into what they really are. They've gone beyond the reflection in the mirror. That is what meditation is. But that's why you've got to be doing that thing that you love doing. You watch Usain Bolt run, and you're like, that's not a man on the track. There's no way he's a real man. And you watch his stride. He is now larger than the track, and he's now larger than his human form. Why? Mentally. That's what I'm trying to get at you this morning. There's something far greater than just your reflection in the mirror, but we are afraid to go past it. Well, here's how you get past it. Do what you love doing. You love doing a particular thing. Yes, you do. You just do. Some draw, some paint, some cook, whatever that thing is that you love doing. You write. And all of a sudden, time slips away. And like yesterday, Shelly yelled out, "Oh my God." And I was like, yeah, it really is 3:45. She's like, how did the time get there so quickly? She was lost in whatever she was doing. That's what I'm trying to tell you this morning. You don't actually get lost. You actually find what you really are. Then you can say, holy cow, time just went by. You lost all perception of time. Yes? That's what happened. That is what happened. So today, my beautiful friends, C-Staff was here on Twitter. The Better Man is here. Jeff is here in the YouTube and Facebook chat. And for the others who've not made themselves known, I see you. Meggie is here. Big Mike is here. Simply the best is in the house. CM is here. Afternoon delight. Miss Fawn. Moon and Dolphin Duck. Miss McQueen. Thick Beautiful is here. Flo Smiles. KZ Beloved. Oracle Treehouse. Listen, I love you, each and every one of you today. Go beyond what you see in the mirror. Do what you love. You love walking? Just go and have a walk. And you'll begin to realize you'll feel your legs and your body, but who's feeling it? And you'll realize I am. And you'll rise above. Oh, Angela, you're just being corny. No, do it. And you will hear yourself. You will see yourself. You will observe yourself. L, that's what I'm trying to convey to you this morning. Who are you looking at? You think it's just your face. You think it's just your face. No. No. Trust me. Trust me, there's something beyond your face as you look. Just be curious enough. Anywho, and when you do whatever thing it is that you do, when you lay down to rest, you'll feel it. When you walk the dog, you pet the cat, you kiss your rooster, you'll feel it. Kiss your rooster. Because I do. I kiss him all the time. But you'll do it, and you'll feel yourself slip. You'll feel what's slipping? Your opinions of yourself are slipping. And you begin to see the true and wonderful you. Okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you this morning. Now, let's get the bull and bird song. I don't know if he's going to sing yet. He did sing earlier because I picked him up, because he was comfortable where he was. But nah, mommy had to put him in the closet. So let's get the bull this morning and possible bird song. And as you hear the bull and bird song, become curious as to who and what you are. Not what the rest of the world says you should be. Not what capitalism says you should be. You got to be smarter than your neighbor so you can out-earn them. Gee. That's capitalism. That's not you. If you learn who and what you really are, you'll watch yourself participate in the world. Like in the Matrix, how he's fighting Agent Smith in that last scene, in the hallway. And his hands are moving real fast and he puts a hand behind his back. But my favorite part is when he kicks him and then he puts that leg down like real slow. Yeah, that's the part. You see, he was in the pocket. So when Morpheus says, he's beginning to believe. That's what he was. He went beyond the man in the mirror. That's all it was. The observation of himself as he acts in the world. Let me get the bowl. Or else I'm going to be late for work. And we can't have that. Can't have that, y'all. Let's get the bowl, people. Let's get the bowl. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 1. Thank you all for being here on this glorious, glorious Wednesday. It is a beautiful day. Rainy, but beautiful nonetheless. Cold, but beautiful nonetheless. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, fan base, thank you all for being here. Go through this day with a curiosity for knowing you. You know yourself and you'll know God. Ow. All right then. Yeah. Yes. I hear you talking about get to know God. I hear you. All right, YouTube and Twitter. Much love. Symmetric. Hey.